Capre, first off, do you mind telling us a little bit about yourself? For people who don't know who you are, can you give us a quick background about yourself, and we'll dive into things from there?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I go by Capre. I'm one of the founders of GOATED.com. I previously worked at FTX, and I was there for a couple of years, and that's where we started. I think the idea of like doing something in the space. We were initially going to partner with FTX, and we actually had a term sheet and stuff, and it was very close to going through until FTX collapsed, and then dropped the idea for a number of years, and then met my wonderful co-founders roughly 2 years ago now, actually. And yeah, we built Coded slightly different to what we originally thought it would be. While we were exploring the partnership with FTX, it was supposed to be a prediction market exchange, not too dissimilar to Polymarket. And now we are a crypto casino, soon to add more stuff like crypto sportsbook and exploring other paths. But yeah, I guess in the same sphere of a platform where a lot of speculative activity takes place and people for yeah, I guess mostly gamble, not too different to crypto exchanges and prediction markets.
Before we dive more into GOATED, can you tell us a little bit more about like what was your background before FTX? Like how did you get into crypto in general? And then you got to give us a little bit of behind the scenes of what was it like working at FTX when everything went down?
Yeah, for sure. So I was actually a trader before. I worked as a trader in one of the, I guess, larger prop trading firms, US based firm, and I my introduction to FTX was actually through trading, through Alameda Research. So I was at Alameda Research for a while. I was trading there, and then eventually made my way over to FTX. I was involved in the venture team, and then was working on this partnership, I guess, joint venture we were going to do, which was supposed to be GOATED, which is the, I guess, exchange for trading prediction markets and sports and so on. Politics actually was a big interest of Sam at the time. He was making quite a number of political donations, as I think the public found out later, and trading those events and market making on those events and stuff was something he was pretty excited about. One, because I think market making and stuff was something that he was interested in. But two, he also wanted to be closer to understanding what the probabilities were of, say, for example, his preferred candidates winning the Senate elections or the even the presidential election. He was one of the largest donors in the 2020 election, and one of the largest donors in the 2022 midterms and stuff. So, yeah, it was something he was quite interested in. Yeah, behind the scenes of FTX, I think uh, a lot of the stuff has been public. I think some of it has been glorified, and people assume it was, I guess, crazy parties and drugs and uh, those kind of stuff. Being there, I think the truth is probably quite the opposite. Most people there were pretty nerdy, people working 16 hours plus. The only drug that people were taking was Adderall. And, like, yeah, I think it was a lot less glamorous than what the stories that came out were. But yeah, it was a very fun time. I think the fraud aspect was very unfortunate, and I myself am a creditor, and I definitely feel for a lot of the people who were affected by FTX. But yeah, outside of that, it was a real business. It was a company that was making money. It was an exchange that was growing, and unfortunately, uh, Sam took a large chunk of Alameda money, invested in illiquid venture investments, and then when loans got recalled, he took FTX customer money and repaid those loans. And this fraud was like very specific. I think the court cases and stuff make it out to be that okay, the whole thing was a fraud, and there's a lot of comparisons to Bernie Madoff and I guess companies that were not real companies and were not companies that were making money. And yeah, personally, from everything I saw, uh, FTX was definitely a real company. It was a real exchange. It had a lot of volumes. It was growing, and the fraud was very isolated to this very specific thing that Alameda took loans using illiquid assets like FTT and Serum. Sam invested his money in liquid venture investments. when the Luna crash happened, loans got recalled, and rather than letting Alameda go bankrupt, Sam decided to double down and take customer funds. And yeah, that was I guess a horrible thing to do, very definitely a wrong thing to do. And yeah, I think a lot of people worked very hard at FTX, and I think a lot of people were, I guess, very sad, and their lives were.
No, definitely. I mean,
Like,
honestly, I think hearing like this kind of side and this kind of perspective to it is honestly it's like the more real side, you know, because it's like you get all the, you know, the headlines, the SBF's girlfriend, and this, that, and the third, and Alameda, but like truthfully, there was a lot of people, right, that worked for this company, tried to do good work for this company, and felt like they were probably on the road of like impacting crypto in a very, very positive way through this company. That kind of just gets like lost in the story anytime that FTX is brought up. So it's actually really cool to hear your perspective in that way, because I'm sure there is a lot of other people, you know, your former colleagues and everything like that, they kind of feel the same way. Like, we were working towards something, and this was a very, you know, legitimate thing that we were working on, and it was this like one moment that just like took everything down, that didn't have anything to do with any of you guys that were trying to build it, right?
yeah, for sure. And one thing I'm very happy and feel very proud of is that a lot of the FTX alumni have gone on to do very cool stuff. I think Armani Ferrante being like a prototypical example, who built Backpack. Shuffle founder comes from FTX. There's people who went on to build like very successful VC firms. Constance, who was the CEO recently, is building out Pacifica, which is a hyperliquid, I guess, replica on Solana. So yeah, it makes me very happy that despite what happened, and there was definitely like a period where people were, I guess, afraid to get back into the crypto industry because it was quite a big shock. But yeah, I'm very happy to see a lot of people who worked hard have gone on to do very successful things in the space, and continue to contribute to the crypto industry. So that's something that makes me very happy.
100%. I guess, I mean, putting that on to you, why another crypto casino? Why GOATED? What's kind of like the story and the, you know, the why behind, you know, building this, and then obviously coming up on a launch with Metaplex?
Yeah, for sure. So interestingly, I'm not a casino gambler. I do trade quite a bit, and there are a lot of parallels between trading on a perpetual exchange like Binance and Hyperliquid and stuff, and casino, which I'll get to. But yeah, like throughout my life, I was never a casino user. Uh, and even the initial, what we were thinking of the joint venture with FTX was nothing to do with a casino. It was to do with sports betting and prediction markets and politics and stuff. But about 2 years ago, when we started, like when I met my other co-founders and we started looking at the space again, we actually had a spreadsheet up and we like rank ordered the most profitable companies in the space. And yeah, I think the most profitable company is probably pretty obvious. Binance, they make like $10 billion plus in revenue, especially in like the bull market year, and everyone knows that. But I think if you like start going down this list from Binance, and if you get like number 2, 3, depending on like how hot the market is, state.com comes up, and I think people now in 2025 know about stake.com, but if you go back to 2022, 2023, when stake was still making $1 to $2 billion in revenue, and their costs are pretty low, so the profits are not far from this. There was not a lot of people in the crypto space who knew about stake.com. And even if they knew about it, they weren't like intimately familiar with it. They might have seen that Drake is a sponsor, or they might have heard about it, but they didn't really consider stake.com to be a crypto company in the same way they considered Coinbase or I guess a crypto exchange to be a crypto company,
Yeah.
which is surprising in some sense. Like some of the surprising elements of this is that, for example, at one point, 8% of all Dogecoin transactions on chain was transactions from centralized exchanges to stake.com, or from stake.com to centralized exchanges. And if you start looking at like other altcoin transactions, a lot of these transactions that people make on these coins are people taking these coins and depositing into stake.com to gamble with. And they're like a very, very big crypto company. But I think the crypto Twitter audience don't really consider them. And even how the company is structured and how the business model is and stuff is like there's lots of parallels between that and centralized exchanges, which is that on a centralized exchange, you deposit some money, then you do some stuff. For example, on FTX, you might like trade. All right, but FTX is not around, but like equivalent exchanges, you trade some perps, you like buy some other products, you like punt some shit coins, and eventually you're left with some balance, and then you like withdraw it, and then you come back again and you gamble. And that's generally like the user experience of most people when they use these exchanges, especially retail. And it's a very similar like user experience for people using stake.com, where you get some crypto, you deposit it, and the feedback process is much quicker. Where if you buy a coin, you have to wait like a couple of hours, and if you make some casino bets, the feedback is instant. But it's very similar. You do some bets, and then like if you have some balance, you withdraw it. Or you might get lucky, make quite a bit of money, and then you withdraw it. And like more and more I became like more open to the idea of a crypto casino as one of the things, not the thing we want to do, but one of the things we want to do, because uh, it didn't feel that dissimilar to like some of the stuff that I was like learning and seeing at FTX in how to run a crypto exchange. Running a crypto casino is quite a bit easier, but a lot of the stuff, there was a lot of similarities. And again, going back to the Excel sheet that like my co-founders and I were looking at, we saw like decentralized perp exchanges as number one, Binance, in who's making most money. But stake.com was like number three or something at that point. And then like spot exchanges were like pure spot exchanges were like lower than stake.com. And then the companies who were at that point struggling to make money or not making a lot of money were prediction markets. Even today, take something like Polymarket. Polymarket is all the rave and everyone loves it, and I use it all the time. But Polymarket don't make any money. They don't charge any fees. Their volume is incentivized, and they provide like a very, very important service for humanity and for people, in the sense that they provide real-time live odds of very important real-world events, from like wars to like presidential elections to politics and stuff. But it's a very tough market to monetize, because take Trump market, for example. Trump market traded on Polymarket about like, I could be wrong on this, but definitely not by like any factor of like more than like 2 or 3. But I think the Trump market traded about $200 million on Polymarket, and that's over a period of like 1 to 2 years. Even if Polymarket charged, say, 0.1%, which is massive in fees, uh, from their like largest market, they can only make $100,000. So it's like a very tough, I guess, product to monetize. Whereas crypto exchange, like derivatives exchanges, are very easy product to monetize. And one of the things in this stack that we thought was like very easy to monetize was crypto casinos. Uh, Often people deposit some money into a crypto casino, and they don't withdraw it. And one of the reasons they don't withdraw it is if they win some money on it, they don't consider it as like money that they won't withdraw. They want to keep playing it. The, I guess, feedback loop is like pretty strong. People really enjoy it. We build our original games and they're like very engaging, and the retention and I guess the ability to monetize is like much, much higher. So with all of these, like we were thinking, okay, we want to do something in the crypto space. We want to build something, and where do we start? And crypto casinos seemed like the obvious place to start. The next thing that we wanted to do is a sports betting platform, and sports betting platform is like the thing that we are currently working on. And again, sports betting platform similarly like less profitable than a crypto casino and less profitable than a derivatives exchange, but similarly profitable. And then post that, we'll be exploring building out perp exchanges or prediction markets and stuff. So in some sense, like the original idea we had in FTX was to start with prediction markets, and we kind of like went backwards, and we were like, okay, let's add prediction markets at the very end, because it is a product that is very interesting. It's a product that like adds a ton of value to the world. but it's a product that we can only really afford to add once the company is like making money, because Polymarket is surviving because VCs love them and they're able to like very easily raise like $1 billion. Whereas we weren't in the position to be able to raise that much, so we first wanted to build a profitable company. So that's kind of like the origin of GOATED. And yeah, I think we got very lucky. We also need a shuffle team, and the shuffle team again were at FTX and they had built out something similar. So we spoke to them, we learned quite a bit from them, and we saw their growth. So we were able to, I guess, see that there is still opportunity in the space for new entrants. And yeah, we launched this about July 2024, and like again, we were very very pleasantly surprised, but we were making money from like our first week was profitable, and our first month was profitable, and the company was like making money straight away, which allows us to do like a lot more other stuff. For example, now that we're like uh, exploring adding like sports betting and debit costs, and all of that is like taken care of, because in some sense there's not a lot of like profitable businesses in the crypto space, and most businesses are profitable because they're subsidized by selling tokens, and we didn't really have like a need to sell tokens in our like first 1 year. We didn't really do like a big VC round or something because our company was like profitable. So yeah, I think that's, sorry, I kind of went on a big tangent, but that's kind of like the origin of GOATED, why we chose a casino, and where we are at right now in like building out like other products and stuff.
So your goal is to eventually have a platform where essentially anybody can do any sort of gambling, because perps are gambling to me. Obviously sports book, casino, all of that is all prediction market. All of that are different forms of gambling, but it's all gambling. And so basically the goal is to eventually have a platform that has all those different types of gambling that somebody could ever want to do. They would just do it on your platform.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. And I think like that is our thesis, and the reason we started with casino is because it's the most profitable. But also one thing I would like to just mention is that like one thing we often wonder is why hasn't Binance, for example, added a casino, or why hasn't like platforms like in China you have apps like WeChat, which is a super app, but in the Western world we don't really have too many of those kind of like, I guess, super apps. And even in like the crypto space, for example, if you want to do spot or derivatives trading, most people go on Binance. If you're from the US, you use Coinbase. A Polymarket is most popular for prediction markets, and then there's like Stake.com for like sports betting and casinos. And why isn't like all of them on like a single app? And I think that's something like we think about a lot, because if you're doing it, one big question is like, why hasn't anyone done it? And I think the reason is, yeah, Binance has spent quite a bit of their regulatory capital on trying to position themselves as a serious financial institution, and it would be like a big pivot on their like brand and image for them to have something like a casino. So I think that's like the reason like Binance and Coinbase haven't really tried to go down that path. And Stake.com, I think Stake.com are a great product and they're like an amazing company, but they're mostly owned by two people, and their founders have made billions of dollars. And I think their ambitions are probably uh, slightly lowered now, given that they have a company that's making $2 billion in revenue. So I think that's probably like the reason there hasn't been other people trying out this idea of trying to have all speculative activity on one platform. And that is the end goal of GOATED, is that we're going to take it incrementally, of course, like casino first because that was the most profitable. Then we're going to add sports and see grow that and like get, I guess, organic users, and then bit by bit. But yeah, our end goal is that uh, people can deposit their money and have access to all of these on GOATED, and potentially even stock trading. There is, I don't want to like get too ahead of ourselves, because a lot of this requires like continued growth and us to like grow our team and bring on more people and like regulation stuff. But yeah, I don't see a reason why in future you can't have all of this on one platform. And yeah, we definitely want to try aim to be that platform.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. Johnny?
No, I mean, I think that's really, I think that's really fun. I guess as far as like what you guys are building out now, where does the token that you guys are launching, how does that like play into this system of yours? Is there, you know, potential to where like you'll be able to bet the token on all these speculative assets? I guess, yeah, if you could talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, of course. So I think, yes, the token is a platform token. People can use it as currency, like they can use Ripple and Dogecoin and so on. And that's definitely part of it. I think the more interesting part is that the token is a way for us to build a community and give back to our users and our players, and a way for investors and people to bet on the continued growth of GOATED. And projects have done this in like similar sense. Taken revenue from the platform and distributed back to the holders. The most common one that currently is happening is buy and burns, where Hyperliquid takes some of their profit and buy back the token. BNB also does that. Binance, they don't disclose what the percentage is, but they do it in some sense. That I think is cool, and I think that is like a perfectly fine way to distribute revenue back to token holders. The thing we're doing is, I guess, slightly more fun, and we still to see like how much people like this. But we take some of our revenue, and also like there has been one more crypto casino who's done this before, so it's not like totally original ideas. Work well for them. We have our own little spin on this, but yeah, basic idea is that we take some of this revenue, and rather than blindly buying this token, and we also don't want just to airdrop it to the users, because then there's these regulatory issues of, is this a security? What we do is we put this into a pool, and people can stake their tokens, and then there's a lottery, and they like, you stake a certain amount of tokens, you can select your numbers, and the amount that we make is like we run a standard Powerball, and if people don't win in a certain week, then that funds are like carried forward. So we're hoping that this pot like will grow and grow until like someone gets like a huge jackpot, like $1 million or $2 million and stuff. So it also it adds like a additional speculative level onto this, where like you buy like a Hyperliquid and you're just betting on Hyperliquid volumes going up, whereas you buy GOATED tokens and you win if GOATED volumes or GOATED grows, but you're also staking it, and maybe like your payoff becomes much more, I guess, right tail, where most of the weeks you might not make anything, and then like every once in a while you win like $500,000 or something. So you're speculating twice. It's, I guess, gambling squared in some sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Can you talk about, you know, why you guys decided to work with Metaplex on this launch, and then just give us some of the launch details and everything like that?
Yeah, for sure. So Metaplex, I think they're amazing team. They've built
Yep.
some of the best infrastructure on the Solana network, and they've been like incredible launch partners. I think there's been 4 or 5 launches on Metaplex so far, and I believe all of them have gone like phenomenally well, and they've been great working with us as well. Very helpful. They built all of the, I guess, smart contract and infrastructure for this sale. So it's a obvious choice on our side on wanting to do this sale with Metaplex. Our sale is, it's actually a pretty small raise, because again, we're not a company that needs this sale to make money. We are a profitable business already, and we're making money. The purpose of the sale is to kickstart our token liquidity and get our token out there. So we are selling 1% of our tokens, and we're raising 4,000 Solana, I think, at current prices. Solana's down a bit today, so let me just check and confirm. So we're raising 880K at current prices. So 4,000 Sol is 880K. And all of that, there's some like fees we have to pay, but all of that will be used for liquidity, and we'll be partnering with Radium and using this for liquidity. Initial market cap is just these tokens we're selling here, plus 0.5% of the supply we are unlocking for like additional liquidity. So what's that? 880. So 1.3 mil is the initial circulating market cap. It's very, very low. The FTV is, I guess, yeah, a bit like higher, but a lot of these tokens are locked up for quite a bit of time. For example, 35% of our tokens are in treasury. and they're not going to be used unless we have like some like need to incentivize volume and stuff like very far into the future. Or team tokens and investor tokens are locked up for 1 year and invested over 2 years. So they unlock in like 3 years overall, and like nothing unlocks in the first year. And even like we're having an airdrop to our players, which happens in December, but that has to like a wager to vest and unlocks over 6 months. So we are being very careful on managing the token supply and not trying to get a lot of tokens out. And we want our token emissions to match our growth, where the platform grows and then we're like more comfortable having like more tokens in supply. So yeah, the initial circulating supply and circulating market cap is quite low. But yeah, I think we'll be like very pragmatic on like the FTV, because I know that is something that people sometimes like look at as well. And uh, the other part of the sale is that there is a whitelist. I think whitelist is closed, so it's not very useful to the listeners to know that there is a whitelist. But yeah, the whitelist period is actually only 3 minutes. We initially wanted to we were planning to do a longer whitelist of 2 hours, but we shortened it down to 3 minutes because it looks like we're going to sell out very quickly, and we wanted to give the public a chance to buy it too. So we wanted as wide of a distribution. So we really cut it down to 3 minutes, and uh, people who buy in the first 10 minutes get a 5% bonus. That happens automatically through the Metaplex contract. We assume we probably sell out in the first 10 minutes, so it's equivalent to everyone getting a bonus, which in some sense is equivalent to no one getting a bonus, but it means that people are like circulating market cap that people are buying is 5% cheaper. Uh, what other information can I share on the sale? Yeah, I think everything else is pretty standard. Fixed price. Once the sale is over, we take that liquidity. We'll set up pools on Radium. We use concentrated liquidity, tokens up for trading, and then yeah, we'll let the market decide on what the organic demand is and how excited people are to back us.
Very cool. Very cool. Sonny?
Love it. Yeah, no, I mean, that's most of the questions from my end.
Yeah, no, I think we're excited to see how it plays out, and and again, it's cool to hear, obviously your whole background and the team's background, and there's FTX was such a wild moment for all of us in the space, and especially with how it affected Solana. So seeing you, a few years later, launching the platform, launching GOATED and doing the token through Metaplex, and doing everything through Solana is cool to see. It's kind of a full circle moment of it was like FTX was like an attempt at a knockout punch of Solana, but it didn't take Solana out. And hats off to you for continuing to build and continuing to build, and now coming to Solana with it. So, just excited to see how it all plays out. And yeah, we're excited for the launch. The launch is, we'll launch this episode, on, we'll do it tomorrow or later today, but the token launch is when?
The token launch is on Thursday. So
Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just on the Solana thing, I just wanted to add that, I think it was an obvious choice for us to go to Solana. FTX collapsed sent Solana price down a lot, but a lot of people at FTX, probably everyone at FTX, was very, very excited about Solana. A lot of people there owned a lot of Solana tokens, and SPF was he was genuinely like very, very excited with Solana. And I think it's also interesting because even when he's in jail, there's a story about people in jail asking him what to buy in crypto, and he told them to buy some Solana tokens. So despite everything, it's interesting that even from jail, SPF is still bullish on Solana.
Now he's telling them to go on to Metaplex and make sure you hit the Genesis launches and ape those. So
probably.
Well, hey, we love to see it. We appreciate you making time. We know the time difference is crazy. So, and it's just a crazy week in general. I know you and the team got a lot going on. So, we appreciate it. And again, we're excited to see how the launch goes, but we know it's going to go great. And excited to see you guys continue to build out the platform.
Awesome, and thanks so much, Marc and Sonny, for your time, and it's been great chatting to you guys. And
we'll see you in the pot. We'll see you at Breakpoint.
We'll definitely see you at Breakpoint.
There we go. Well, hey, Bray, appreciate you and appreciate your time.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys.